Expedition 33 came out of nowhere, a debut title from a brand new studio, and yet it's already one of the most critically acclaimed games of this year. But how does a first-time developer make one of the best RPGs of the decade on their very first try? Well, today, let's break down why Expedition 33 is blowing up and how it compares to the other indie game legends like Undertale, Hades, and maybe Disco Elysium. If you're a fan of story-driven RPGs or a game developer looking for lessons, this one is for you. Let's start with the basics. What is Expedition 33? Developed by Senfall Interactive, the game is a turn-based RPG set in a gorgeous French-inspired fantasy world, a dark, dreamy place where a mysterious entity, also known as Deep Interest, erases people from existence by painting their names. Yeah, pretty dark and surreal, but here's what really sets it apart. There's a strong narrative hook right at the start of the story, absolutely stunning visuals, a haunting original soundtrack, and emotionally driven character-focused writing. Players aren't just playing this game, they are feeling it as they go along the way, and that emotional connection is a huge part of why this game has gone viral. So how did a first-time studio manage to pull this off? So there are a few key reasons. Well, firstly, the reviews were phenomenal, right? Over 90 on Metacritic with tons of 9s and 10s from major outlets. That kind of praise builds instant credibility, it just gets people attention. Secondly, they launch on everything, PC, PS5, Xbox and Game Pass, so that gives it a massive exposure on day one. And thirdly, word of mouth exploded, so streamers, YouTube content creators, Reddit threads, and everybody start to talk about the story, the twist, and how the ending hits like a gut punch. I myself have been recommended by several friends about this game, telling me that I really have to try it out, which is why I eventually took the plunge. And the art and atmosphere. So people are calling it one of the most visually unique RPGs in years. Well, think Dishonored meets Final Fantasy. There's a very strong surrealistic element to this game. If you've watched the Chinese animation Ling Long or Soul Cage, you will find some similarities where they tend to like to put familiar things in unfamiliar contexts and just makes it very quirky and it just arouses your curiosity. How does this game compare to other indie hits? Okay, let's look at a few big ones, right? So Disco Elysium brought revolutionary dialogue and political themes. Hades blended roguelike combat with emotional storytelling, and Undertale won hearts with quirky humor and subversive choices. Expedition 33 might not have reinvented the wheel like those did, but what it does, right, it does at an insanely high level. It's like the best version of a traditional JRPG with modern design, gorgeous art, and a deep emotional payoff. And despite being a debut title, it has the kind of polish you expect from studios with a dozen games under their belt. So people aren't just saying this game is good, they're saying like, I haven't felt this way about a game since Persona 5, I cried at the ending, I can't stop thinking about this world. That's the kind of emotional engagement and response most games can only dream of getting. And when players feel something, they share it, they tweet it, they stream it, and they convince their friends to play. And that's how indie games like this become cultural moments that, as I've mentioned in my previous videos, if you finish the game and you have that deep sinking feeling, the blues hitting you and you wish the game hasn't ended, yeah, you know that's a great game right there. So if you're a developer or just a game design nerd, well, here are some takeaways from Expedition 33's breakout success. You don't have to be groundbreaking, you just have to execute it really well. Players crave emotional, character-driven storytelling more than ever. The polish and presentation still matters, even for indie games. That first impression is always so important. Right? Make your game accessible across platforms and at a really friendly price. The price point for this game is a little lower than what I would expect, and when asked about it, the developers do say they hope that the lower price makes this game more popular and more accessible, like what we mentioned. And finally, word of mouth is everything. Give people a reason to talk positively about your game. So is Expedition 33 the next big franchise in the making, or is it one of those perfect one-off gems we'll never forget? Either way, it's a bold, beautiful debut, and one that proves that indie studios can still punch way above their weight. Have you played it? What do you think of the ending? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you want more deep dives into indie hits, hidden gems, well, subscribe, like the video, hit the bell. Until next time, I see you guys, and take care.